So I do want to open up the circle for a minute because I know, again, I'm watching in the chats, many people have questions of how do I connect with the Alliance for Indigenous Nations. I saw Adriana posted information about the gathering in Palenque if you're interested. I also posted just one of the channels for the live streaming that'll happen. So we do want to make sure everybody's voice is heard. But before we do that, I wanted to share the video from the Kogi, and then we're going to go over to my brother in Hawaii. He was part of Build Back Green Hawaii, which was an initiative after the fire there, and he's with Indigenous Bridges, and he works with a lot of the uncles and the relatives there, the Indigenous community there in Hawaii. So I'm going to introduce him in just a moment, but I think just for a moment of change, I wanted to share the video, and then we'll come back to Halib and Huang, who actually bridges many continents and cultures and places. So here we go. I'm going to share the video. And this was presented as part of the COP28. This was a message to the world from the Kogi people. So bear with me one moment. Thank you, everyone. And if you do have questions, we will call on you in just a moment here. Okay. Okay. Here we go. Thank you for your patience, everyone. And here we go, the message from our other brothers in the South.
I am the mother. I am in the heart of the universe. Throughout all of time, I have never suffered from such heat or exhaustion. I have endured for the last 1,000 years. Since that time, my natural connection points, my rivers, reservoirs, and internal waterways across all continents have been obstructed and are full of pollution. I cannot cleanse or recuperate. In December of 2023, I will start to rise and move and turn, sending this message out to all my children around the world. The storms, the earthquakes, the hurricanes, and the rise of the ocean will come. If the governments, the sultans, the princes, presidents, and kings of the world do not listen and act, in 2 years' time, only 30% of the earth will remain. I am the mother. I have always endured despite arrows being put in my eyes and in my body. I am not seeking to defend myself. I remain calm. But now I must recuperate. There are two ways for me to heal. The first, I could take the law of nature into my own hands. This way I will go in search of my medicine so I can cure my body, heal my energies, and all that I'm suffering from. There will be great changes upon the earth. You will feel me recovering. You will feel me moving. I will not do this to cause harm to you. It will mean I am recuperating my body. Or the second way, All my children will make the healing happen for me, so I will not need to do it myself. I will put my older children in charge of my recovery. They will go and search for my medicines, for my cure, so I can be healed and recuperate with their help. You, my children, must all be united and deliver what is needed for your older brothers so they can do the healing where I have been injured by you, my younger ones. Each one of the rulers of the world, of the governments of the world, must say, "Yes, Mother, I will stand with you. I will give my help to where you have been injured. I, your mother, have given you everything." When these changes start to happen, we will see whether you listen and act, or whether I myself will have to do what I must to recover the balance on Earth. If in just 6 months from now, by June 2024, you say, "Yes, we will provide what is needed," then my oldest children will be able to help cure my body. If this message is ignored, I will take the law of nature into my own hands 1.5 years from that date. This is the message that the Mother has given, she who is in the heart of the world.
So just want to take a moment with that. Just acknowledging, excuse me, that today, there's so many different dimensions of this work coming together, the spiritual, the different prophecies. Today's focus was about individual and indigenous land sovereignty. And I really honor John and the Alliance for Indigenous Nations for the work they're doing. We will open it up here in a moment, but I want to make sure if people are interested in the work that the Alliance of Indigenous Nations is doing, he'll put the information in the chat. That way you can stay connected to the amazing work that they're doing. If you're interested in the regenerative and sustainability and green aspects, I will put a chat for the Alliance for Regenerative Communities into the chat. All of us are gathering at this time of amending the sacred hoop and bringing all of our different energies and prayers and intentions and our spiritual energies together. So I know that many different people have talked on various subjects today, but it's all part of this whole great movement towards our relationship with each other and with the earth. So before I open it up in just a moment, I want to share two things. One is our brother Levin Hwang from Indigenous Bridges, who's in Hawaii, and then also with Jerry Anderson, who I connected with through Standing Rock, who has an amazing project. He has done, there's actually living templates of this work in Puerto Rico with the indigenous Taino population on 10,000 acres of land conservation. So we're going to shift gears just a little bit for a moment or two, and then we'll open it up this won't be much longer. Thank you, everyone, for your patience. But we do want to make sure people are connecting with the Alliance for Indigenous Nations about their work today, and the Alliance for Regenerative Communities, but also, most importantly, with each other, with our hearts, with our spirits. And as our sister Adriana said from Palenque, we are the ones, and now is the time. So I want to introduce from Hawaii, from Indigenous Bridges, our brother Levin Hwang.
Thank you so much, Michael. I'm so honored to be here with everyone. And I'm deeply, deeply humbled to be offered this moment to share of myself and what I am committed to in the presence of so many elders, so many heart warriors who have dedicated and committed so much, not only for your own nations, but as a model and a guide for people across the world to follow. Mahalo to all of you. Mahalo for this brief moment for me to share. As Michael mentioned, I'm the director here in Hawaii for a nonprofit called Indigenous Bridges. Our founder, Tony Coolidge, his mother is of the Atayal people in Taiwan. And the mission of our nonprofit is to support the active collaborations and to help foster these collaborations between Indigenous communities from around the world. Because Tony has been in Taiwan for the last 20 years, over the last 20 years, much of our work has been focused with the 16 recognized, as well as the rest of the Indigenous and Native Aboriginal community peoples in Taiwan. And from about, let's say half a year ago, it's a year ago now actually, he invited me to open a chapter of the organization here in Hawaii, where I've been living for the last 2.5 years on Maui. And during my time here, I've been very blessed to be connected with and to have opportunities to learn from so many of the kumu and kapuna here, who are teaching not only me, but the entire community here so much. And as I'm sure everyone knows, there's recently the tragedy of the fires in Lahaina and other parts of the island. And along with Michael and Alan Tratner, Professor Alan Tratner, and so many others, we were able to do a small fundraising campaign, Build Back Green, to help support those who lost so much in that tragedy. And that continues to be my primary focus during this stretch of time. I'm currently working on a project that I hope that my team and I hope will be able to build emergency shelters for many of the families who lost their homes in the fires. And our vision is that this community of shelters will eventually become permanent homes for many of those who lost their homes. And that this development will also be a model, not only for how future emergency responses can be accomplished here in Maui and across the state, across Hawaii, but also to be a model moving forward for how communities can be developed in more regenerative and resilient ways. You know, I've been working with Michael for over 2 years now on the vision to build regenerative communities, develop regenerative communities around the world. And my hope, my vision is that what's unfolding here in Maui in the wake of the tragedy, in the wake of the crisis, will open up possibilities and open up new pathways for so many people to be able to live in true harmony with the lands that they're on, with the earth, with all the animals and plant beings, all the beings of the sky and the sea, from ridge to reef. And thank you for allowing me this time to share.
Thank you very much, Levin. And I want to just say we're going to have one last person share for a moment what they're doing in Puerto Rico, because there's so much actual, what I would say, boots on the ground, things actually happening. we're not here just to philosophize or hypothesize. We're here to build synergy about the projects and the movements that are happening in real time. So I want to introduce our brother, Jerry Anderson. He did the conclave gathering in South America with various indigenous elders. But I want to bring him in because when we talk about land stewardship, land sovereignty, we also talk about how can we be, again, more green, more self-sustainable, and working in harmony with each other and with Mother Earth. So I want to introduce Jerry Anderson and his project of what he's doing in Puerto Rico. So welcome, Jerry.
Thank you, Michael, and I feel very honored and blessed to share with this distinguished group of elders and wise wisdom holders in the Zoom room here. Yes, we, first I should say a little history like the rest of the elders have said, is that I want to go back before Columbus arrived 500 years ago, and the culture that was the only culture basically in all of the Caribbean, Colombia, Venezuela, the Central America, and all the way up to Atlanta, Georgia, was a culture called Taino, T-A-I-N-O. And we have 500 words in our language from the Taino, from canoe to hammock to tomato, potato, barbecue are all words that are Taino words. And the Great Spirit has blessed us with an enormous amount of grace. And what has happened, I'll sum it up because we're short on time, is that we're talking today about land sovereignty, and the area in Puerto Rico where we are, we were given stewardship over 10,000 acres in the very center of the island. And the crazy thing is, this 10,000 acres had never been owned by anybody on an island. So this land happens to be, or of course it's meant to be, is actually the holy lands of the Taino culture. In other words, where their sacred stories and myths and so forth took place was on this river that you see right behind me here. It's called the Tanama River, and it's one of the few rivers in the world that flows north. And as you can see in this picture, it's flowing through a mountain. This Tanama River flows through 3 mountains before it gets to the sea. So this area is a very rich cultural area. For hundreds and hundreds of years, this was the area where the natives did a pilgrimage to. We have carvings in the rocks there. They're 800 to 1,200 years old. Many of them look like they're extraterrestrials. And so I have a real short video if Michael can play it. I put a link in the Zoom for Michael, unless you want me to share my screen. So we're really
no.
You want me to do it?
I can share the video,
Yes.
but you just talk for one more moment and just
Sure.
talk also about the conclave project that you created, because I want to say after today, we're focusing a lot of our energy in the gathering in Palenque. I did put the live stream link. Also, Adriana put the link for the actual event if you're interested in more information, because this isn't just one event. I'm proposing that in April, we do another one of summits, sovereignty summits, because there's a lot of voices, and I'll put the email in the chat, that need to be heard. And I want to continue to invite John and the Alliance for Indigenous Nations around land stewardship, Indigenous land sovereignty. So if you can talk while I get the video queued up about the conclave very briefly, and then we'll show the video. And then again, I apologize, we're going a little longer, but I want to open it up. There's a lot of great people here and stuff in the chat. And I just want to give people opportunity to have their voice heard and spoke. So I'm going to go back to Jerry for a moment with the feather.
What I would say is in the Amazon, a lot of us don't realize how separate the different tribes are, because they have warred with each other in the past. They don't know each other. They demonize each other. And so creating unity in the Amazon has been an enormous project. And September of last year, we brought together 22 tribes from Mexico to Brazil, and many of the tribal leaders and elders that came, it was their very first and probably their only time they'll ever be out of the Amazon. And we did an amazing experience because it was a conference of all these elders, but there was no conference, there was no speeches, there was no panel discussions. What it was each tribe did a ceremony for all of us. So one of them did a sweat, next one did a hape ceremony, next one did an ayahuasca ceremony, another did a fire ceremony. So we just did ceremonies for each other, and it was an incredible bonding.
everything from walking in when we put our first foot on that particular property, infrastructure, hospitals, the food growing, food processing, jobs to many. And like Michael, I represent a lot of techs. I have over 42. Many of them, we partner with people like Israel, and we help develop with them, one of our companies, the air to water generation. And now there's many different ways to do that, but that's a very viable. Also, for our dear brother that was talking about South America, it's a kid's red flyer wagon. It has water filters and a solar generator on it, and we could pump 1,000 gallons a day of purified water out of the muckiest stuff you've ever seen. It's not that expensive. We can get them in bulk. We can ship them. It just takes funds. We're working on those funds to try to get there. I'm also First Nations on both sides of my family, grandfathers and great-grandfathers, Blackfoot and Cherokee. And we have been making an effort for the last 2 years to pioneer into the different tribes and bands that which we have got an opportunity to do. It is a work in process. We've been battled every step of the way by the Black Hats, whoever you want to call them, whatever name you want to throw their way. We've been robbed, stalked, attempted assassinations, attempted kidnappings, and some of my couriers and transfers have been eliminated along the way. So there are a lot of us out there that are really trying. We've been behind the scenes. It's the first time I've been on one of these meetings, and I was invited by those folks with Marcia, and I greatly appreciate the opportunity and to listen that which is going on, and look forward to joining and being a part of the work that is being done here. And Michael, I do want to talk to you. I dropped a chat in under your name. So thank you for the moment. I pass the feather.
Thank you so much. And just to address that, we're working right now with Professor Alan Tratner and Lehman Hwang. We have right now over 100 consultants, contractors, and product reps for everything green, sustainable, and regenerative. Yeah. From emergency response to remediation to building back green. We're doing projects now, just getting off the ground. These are new initiatives. We're working in real time in Hawaii with Lehman and Professor Tratner, one of the co-founders of Earth Day. We're doing a project now. We just started in Acapulco. So I'm saying, please, if you have a solution that can be implemented right now. And I don't want to take this away from the Alliance for Indigenous Nations, because they're organizing the tribal people, the indigenous, they're looking at the legalities of land sovereignty. I've also spoke with their representative who is focused on the sustainability aspect. We are completely focused on self-sustainability, yes, taking back control of our sovereignty and our lives. So please send me an email to Alliance. You'll see it for regencom@gmail. I also want to say, I am at absolute service to this 16, 18 hours a day, much to the dismay of my partner. So if you can in the chat, please, any donations to help support the effort of me going to Palenque, because I'm not at this point being funded to live stream the event, be there for spiritual support, to do video, and to continue the amount of energy it takes to producing this content. We also have the Build Back Green is graciously supported. It's in the chat. But with that, I'm going to pass the feather back to the center. But please make sure that everyone connects the dots right now. Go into the chat. If you want to connect with a person or their project or whatever they're doing, everyone put your emails in. This is the time. Let's open the floodgates and move the movement forward. So with that, I put the feather back in the center.
Hatipi, Michael, Hatipi, everybody. Thank you very much from the bottom of our hearts. We know we're all here together to try and make a lot of dreams and a lot of miracles happening. So I just want to share with you, brothers and sisters, that here with our work with indigenous communities in the north of Mexico, in Baja California South, close to California, we're doing a type of new laws with the help of United Kingdom government, because one of our projectations that I released in Baja California South, it's the eco-agriculture with indigenous communities and the ecosystem for the kenaf. Kenaf is one of the plants, kind of like hemp, in where it doesn't have these legality really hard in Mexico, and we're trying to make this carbon test situation and conversion of CO2. So with our projectations, our knowledge in the eco-agriculture from the indigenous knowledge and some products that we already sell in Canada with the help of Chief Lane Jr. and Adriana Alvarez, with all this mix of new technology, knowledge, nature, and agriculture, we're trying to do conversions, like really high numbers per every 6 months per hectare in our own agriculture with CANAF. And again, CANAF is kind of like a one hibiscus cannabis plant that we use in Mexico legally to convert the CO2 and help indigenous communities to use this biomass for construction. So that's where I'm going. These projectations in Mexico is really good tented for the indigenous communities who has this sovereignty land in the desert, in where we can desertificate the desert and start growing hemp. I mean, it's not hemp, it's hibiscus cannabidus is the name of CANAF, and CANAF can give more biomass so the indigenous communities can reconstruct Acapulco in different situations. They can rebuild streets, they can redo different options in Acapulco for keep the economy there. Because right now, one of the things that we're fighting with, it's all the young people, they want to go to USA because Acapulco has no jobs, has no sustainability. So literally 30% of the population of Acapulco is going to be leaving Acapulco a few more months to go follow the American dream. So that's why we need to keep the economy in Mexico and help all these situations to make new laws, to make fair trades, to make alliances through all the people who is around there. So I pass the feather to whoever wants to get it. And again, thank you very much to your beloved hearts and your spirits. Ajatipi to everybody.
Anybody else would like to talk, please just turn on your microphone and
Hi, Michael. Yeah, thank you for hosting this and having inviting me on this call. I too, as you've heard, am connected with a lot of different technologies. Where my focus has been trying to hone is, this cleanup aspect, this decontamination, this, atmospheric water generation, some things around, hemp and gasification, taking that down to biochar and fuels. I added Wade and Michael, but yeah, definitely want to connect on how we can deploy these things. I feel like I've been batted around different interests for the past several years. Some of these bigger corporate ones that just didn't have the right intention or didn't feel like the right intention. I really would like to connect with some, and I'll drop my email in the chat. But there's one project or a couple projects that I'm focused on. One's concentrated solar thermal to bring some energy independence, and that can help us decontaminate water streams or water sources. And I mean other things that are taking plastic to fuel. But yeah, I definitely want to connect and like I said, open the floodgates, because it hasn't seemed like there's been, or at least haven't been able to find the communities that are really joining hands to bring these solutions together. And so I just really appreciate being on this and letting me share some of that.
Thank you, Adi. It's good to see you, brother. And in our attempt to fast track things and stuff elephants through keyholes sometimes, there's different energies as we all become coherent and aligned. It's good to see you here. So I will say the Alliance for RegenCom@gmail.com. Again, he wasn't able to make it today, but Professor Tratner, and there's about 100 of us right now in a literally collaborative, non-hierarchical consulting group called the Alliance for Regenerative Communities, that we all basically bring our superpowers to the forefront. And right now we have active campaigns. So it's good to see you. And as we have this call, again, this is not a one-off today, partnered with AIN, Alliance for Indigenous Nations, we can make some incredible strides. And like we saw with the Kogi message, if we can do this now and cultivate these sacred fires, have our communication with the earth and with each other, that we live in a quantum universe where all these dimensions are connected. The land, the elementals, the spiritual, the ancestral, the sacred fires, the works, the solutions, the renewable technologies, regenerative agriculture, independent media, alternative health modalities. We're taking our sovereignty and our power back into our communities from a spiritual and heart-centered perspective. We cannot just dole that out and count on other people to do that anymore. And I saw an amazing cartoon the other day where it was like, one line was like, do the work to evolve, and the other one was like, just take a pill and everything will be okay. And 99% of the people are in that line. So we have to not just preach to the choir, we have to build our communities, but we also have to reach out to people that are ready to be inspired and to wake up and to join the movement, because this is an inclusive movement. No one should be left behind. So with that, I put the feather back out into the center.
This is Howard Bertram. I'm from Canada. It was John. I was in touch with John this morning, and he sent me the link and the invite to be here. Wonderful Zoom call. Such a talented group. Michael and some others. I'm just going to be very brief, because most of you won't know the background or this has happened, and it's going to take a collective brain trust to mobilize what I'm going to share with you. In 2011, the U.S. Department of Defense and Homeland Security issued a UCC for 14.3 quadrillion, which when you go into it, claim they own the arms and legs of all of humanity. In June the 23rd of 2023, Dr. Three Rivers, trustee for the Hawaiian Nation, issued a UCC over and above that, put a lien against that for 14 quintillion, which is in effect. It went in effect September the 21st. There's already been a number of billions of dollars written in bills of exchanges off of it, which haven't been challenged yet. Problem is that we don't know how to monetize the damn thing. And so what I'm saying to you right now is the powers to be with the UCC from 2011 basically tried to do an end run against humanity. Dr. Three Rivers, as trustee, did an end run against those who tried to do an end run against humanity with the UCC filing. I can put it in the chat. Probably there are two great interviews by Sarah Westall that define what I'm talking about. Basically, and some other speakers have mentioned the trust, digital banking. Sarah Westall interviewed David Webb, who did the Great Taking. Well, really, with the end run of the UCC that was filed June 23rd, 2023 for the 14 quintillion, an end run has been done. And there's one other variable you might want to know of, and that is the Office of Military Settlements in 2017, 2018 issued a lien against one account in Hong Kong for 300 trillion. On March the 17th of, March the 22nd of 2017, General Zeleny of that Office of Military Settlements presented to President Trump a check for $21 trillion to pay off the national debt. It was never done. When Trump won the primary in Ohio, the speech he gave that same day, he made reference at minute 14 and 52 seconds that if he gets elected president, he'll pay off the national debt. The money's all there. So what I'm trying to say to you all is there are things that if there that are already in place to move humanity forward against however you would describe it. I see that Don has his hand up from the Kingdom of Hawaii. We would love to somehow do a lien or a trust with what's going on with Dr. Three Rivers. We just haven't somehow managed to do it. So I can put something in the chat where you can track this down. It's an incredible story, an incredible reality, and we need a brain trust to know how to move this thing forward. So I just want you all to know about it, and I have no idea how it's going to unfold. The one thing that Dr. Three Rivers is, he's a prophecy keeper. I've had some meetings with Don and some other from Hawaii, some wonderful prophecy keepers there. And one of the prophecies, you mentioned the condor and the eagle, the 7 fires, the 8 fires. There's another one in terms of Hawaii being a beacon of hope, a type of lighthouse to the world. And I also hold that to my heart. So I yield with that.
Hello, this is General Baker. Sir, I was the CFO for Office of Military Settlements, of which I am a trust. I want you to know that Marsha Ann Willison and myself had worked with Makapu to gain back the night before the lands for Hawaii. They have been won back. People are not truly addressing the true rulers of Hawaii of the Kamehameha line. I've worked with many indigenous cultures. I'm with the Squamish right now. And also that there is a true bill of indictment, of which Donald Trump is the last one on the indictment. Donald Trump never saw the 21 trillion. He was told about it, but I tried to deliver it to the White House through the Pentagon. And our military is in default. That has been proven by Rod Class, Private Attorney General and he's already spoken with the JAGs. So we have a corrupt military that was instigated through Obama administration. There's a lot of things that needs to be spoken of in private. I am constantly working 24/7 to get things accomplished, and we are going to accomplish it, to settle the debts. That's part of my trusteeship, is to settle the debts for the whole planet. That's why OMS was created in the first place, because the 300 in 2009 realized that they would never be able to accomplish anything because debt settlement was the first thing that they needed to accomplish. They are defaulted trustees. All the governments are in bankruptcy of the whole planet. So we have to be truthful in what we are spreading as information. So thank you very much, sir. I look forward to talking to people privately who want to discuss. I have all the paperwork. So thank you. God bless.
We have a council. We have a council on the last 2 topics within the Oceanic Coalition that we should have a council specifically on this topic. Very imperative. I'll drop an email in the chat and you can reach out as appropriate.
Amazing. And this is what I would like to share with everyone. I'm just going to do from the top down, and I don't mean to take up too much room. I also wanted to invite our brother from the Kingdom of Akua. I've seen him patiently sitting there. I want to make sure his voice is heard. But right now, there's a huge movement. I've been in touch with people from 15 countries because in August, we're doing the Earthstock Global Summit for everything regenerative. And all of you will be involved in that. But we're looking at starting like a global council of regenerative communities. So in that, all of these different topics we're talking about. So it's kind of, I don't like to liken it to anything, but it's the polarized solution to the supposed UN with their false interest and the World Economic Forum and all the things that are happening. And I'm not here to be a conspiracy person or poo-poo. Like Buckminster Fuller said, if there's a system that doesn't work, you can spend your energy fighting it, or you can create another one. So there's a lot happening. And I just will pass the feather back, but I do want to invite our brother from the Kingdom of Akua to be heard.
Hey, hello, Mike. Hello, Kako. Mike Kako. This is Donald Kaulia from the Hawaiian Island. Okay, so right now, it's been a long time since I've seen General Baker. He is correct. Makapu Sonora is who he was talking about. So right now in Lahaina, and Hector, where's Hector? Chief Hector, we took him into Lahaina to the burnt zone. Okay, so officially, what you see in Lahaina, Native Hawaiian organizations, they're the ones doing the contracts with the DOD. That whole place is a war zone. And the Department of Defense, not all of you know that there's a law of war manual by the Department of Defense. It was amended July 2023. Okay, so we're boots on the ground. We're all the descendants of Kamehameha. That's me, Keramoko. We're all inside there. Why? Because that's our responsibility. The kingdom never left.
Mm-hmm.
The people never left.
Mm-hmm.
The sovereigns never left.
Mm-hmm.
But people live there. So all the people who live in Hawaii is Hawaii nationals. We know our laws. The only law that kind of like supersedes us right now is the Department of Defense Law of War Manual. Am I right, General Baker? Yeah. And so I just want to share with you that what's happening right now is that you got Native Hawaiian organizations. The Colonel Curry was in charge. He's been changing leadership, but Colonel Curry was in charge of the environmental, which is the U.S. Army Corps of Engineers. And so the next phase has begun today. The administration, evaluations and revaluations of all the deserters, Native Hawaiian organizations, and the acronym for that is NHOs. And so I'm glad Michael invited me to this forum right after church. I got it when I was in church. I'm the music director for my praise and worship team. So I was hoping I'd make it out of there in time to make this meeting, and got to see Hector. I got to see Judge Howard, who just spoke, and then General Baker for a long time, and my good friend Michael Proctor. He's got some amazing IT stuff that we're gonna use, and he got John Cipolla there of AIN. You got a whole bunch of guys. Hey, there's another that just came on, Keoho Charles. A whole bunch of you, Dr. V. And so just want to give you guys a brief update. We're inside, boots on the ground, and our next phase is temporary housing. But we have what we call is just a tool for the de facto tool, so we can get funding to help what's happening inside Lahaina through Keamoku Kapu's Na'aikani o Maui platform, because he's in the zone. He's working with the Lahaina Strong and the victims. Yeah, we had like some 4,800, 1,500 left the islands. You got 15 suicides. You got a whole mess. And that whole mess is because our leadership of government. You guys all heard it from the governor. He blames everything on climate change. And then you have our conspicuous Maui police chief. And then you got all this mismanagement. If you take a look at this whole thing out of the box, there was never an emergency legislative session from the time this fire happened, and when they waited all the way till they got the 2024 legislative session active. And guess what? They start putting bills like Senate Bill 3381. And that bill is eminent domain so that they can have control and do the land swap. You guys follow me? And so having all of you here listening to this BS, us as the du jour is getting ready to rise as we the people. And we're gonna do it from inside Lahaina. We're gonna get help from the trustee of the UCC trustee and get help from AIN, bring a tribunal judges, create a grand jury, just do these tribunals and charge these elected officials for negligence. You know, that's where we're working at. While we're doing the work, we're looking at the people. They don't want to talk to nobody. They don't. Because they never got any help, not one penny from the state or the Maui County Mayor and his staff. Everything's coming to what's left of FEMA. And that's gonna run out pretty soon. Yeah. So hopefully this military settlement, this UCC trust, or 14.3 quintillion, hopefully all this can help do justice, do the grand jury, do our tribunals, and start nailing these elected officials for negligence. It's obvious. If you watch YouTube, they got so many, it's no longer conspiracy, it's all for real. The DEW and all that baloney stuff. But as I speak, we're working with our people in Lahaina that needs help. We're working on a trust fund to get them a card, ATM card, loaded up with $5,000, maybe 10 grand. Yeah. I just got a call this morning from the Crown Prince of Dubai. I had an email from the Crown Prince of Saudi. And so they said, how can we help? I just emailed back money. Yeah. So I got malamalahina.org in there. But, you know, just to back it up a little bit, we don't have funds. But guess what? The DOD Law Warrant Manual identifies us as the host culture, the host authority. That's why all of these jurors, we're getting them all certified. OSHA, you got this HAZWOPER. These things cost like about 10 grand just to get certified, but they waived it all, get all the Hawaiians and those who live there, Hawaiian nationals certified. So we have to 60, we hope to get 150 certified cultural authorities with El Moku Kapo as the lead. He's actually a Konoiki. We're already making plans to reinstate Lahaina is the capital of the Hawaiian Kingdom. We exist, and the whole world knows about us. The Hokule at the same time is going around the world, especially it's been around the world about maybe 10 years ago, but their mission now is within the Pacific Rim for the next 3 years to promote, not climate change, to promote each nation that they hit to take care of their island, their land, air, land, and sea. Yeah. So I just wanted to share that.
Okay, I'm an organic farmer. I've been doing regenerative agriculture for well over 20 years in the Kawartha Lakes in Ontario. And if I can contribute anything, the one thing I've been working on is scalar technology and radionics. And I program crystals with 9 to 10,000 frequencies, everything from chemtrails to vaccine antidotes to biodynamic growing techniques, natural fertilizers, and that sort of thing. So electroculture and that whole bag of worms, it's sort of been a big passion of mine for the last 40 years. So if I can contribute anything to what you're talking about, I'd be glad to share. And I know it's been going long, so I'll just leave it at that for now.
patriarchal model that your voices have been suppressed. So I want to make sure that we make space for that before we conclude. So any of the women on the call would like to share, just turn on your mic. I see.
This is Marcia. I appreciate all of the heartfelt speaking that came today and the opportunity to look and take it to the Great Spirit for the wisdom to come through for us to mend the circle and to bring the prophecies to life and to be the walking peacemakers that we've come to be. So thank you all for joining us today.
I see that our one sister has her hand up. Please feel free, Kale Kalikini. Excuse me if I mispronounced that.
Yes, my name is Kale Kailikini. I'm a Hawaiian subject or Hawaii national. I live on the island of Hawaii, Hilo, Hawaii, and I've been listening. I'm very appreciative of the organizations and how you're networking and gathering to look for solutions. I am on board with solutions. Different groups of people in the Hawaiian Kingdom, groups that have, studied, they're scholars, they've learned about many things historical. I was part of that. I don't belong to any group, but I started back in 1995. I started classes. And so from 1995 to 2001, we did free education on the Hawaiian Kingdom history, Hawaiian Kingdom laws. So that's pretty much my background in terms of the Hawaiian Kingdom movement. And I worked for the newspapers in marketing 38 years. My education is secondary education history major. So I'm a researcher, I love to research, and I appreciate, and I'm taking all these emails because in any way that I can help, and thank you, John, for allowing me to be on the AIN. I'm willing to help anyone that needs any information regarding the Hawaiian Kingdom. So I'll put my email in the chat. So aloha, and thank you very much. Mahalo.
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 Mahalo, Kale.
Any last thoughts? And I want to make sure we circle back around because it's really my communications with John and the Alliance for Indigenous Nations and Marcia that really, inspired and provoked doing this event today. I know John has an ongoing schedule weekly. I also want to make sure I invite John, the woman I talked with. I haven't heard back about the sustainability part. Please invite her to reach out to Alliance for Regen, because if we can work in tandem with our different parts of the wheel, we can really continue to make progress. I know there's a lot of people that are switchboarding a lot of things, and sometimes it's a tsunami of information. But like our one sister said, with organization and coherence and taking the baby steps to move forward, we can. We already know that we're victorious because we're walking in the light of truth and the Creator and natural law and resonance. So I want to circle around back to John to conclude. We're going to have our little closing prayer, but any last minute voices before we finish? It's now, or we'll see everyone on April 20th. Handshake, Mark.
Did someone want to say something there?
I saw your hand was up.
Yeah, no, I thought someone.
Why don't you go, Mark, and then we'll go over to Charles K. briefly. Thank you.
Great, thank you. That's what I hear. Okay, so very simply, I'm a member of AIN. Just want to let everybody know that I'm working with a gentleman who's a member of one of our groups that deals with government grants for Indigenous communities. He's very focused on that, very passionate about that. We embrace technology, inventions, and different things like that. And he's very well connected. I work with a few other people in our group regarding that, but I'm the contact to this gentleman. And then I work with other people to smooth it out and go further in our communications down our connections. We started something, I believe it was last fall, on a number of projects. I'll be really brief. And we hope to see some success regarding that in a couple of months. Secondly, be advised that he can take one of your projects and package it with an existing grant that's already in the making or has already been proven successful. Like he can piggyback on those. So it's very promising. I just want to leave you with that. You can reach me through John, or I'll leave my email in the chat. I've reached out to a couple of people who do have some interesting inventions, and I love what you're doing, Michael, with your entire program. It's just beautiful. I'm so grateful to be part of this. Thank you.
If you want to leave
Thank you so
email-
much. And just to add to that, the person who helped develop the touch screen years ago with Steve Jobs just created a new technology based on sound that he's using for regenerative agriculture. So again, we want to try to get people into these hubs, and anything around regenerative solutions and building these bridges is important. So I want to call on our brother Charlie Kay, who's been very patiently waiting. Welcome, Charlie.
Aloha, Charles Keoho, Maui, Hawaii. My family also lost their home in Lahaina. It's a son of a gun to try and drive through there and see that every time I go into Lahaina. But also we have a company called Clear Dot Homes that was started specifically for Lahaina and for other areas as well, for housing that could be with SIP panels and very simply put up, that be fireproof, can withstand hurricane winds without issue, and can be stood up in once the foundation is set up and all the infrastructure is set up. It can literally be stood up in about 2 days at most, 4 days at the outset maybe. At any rate, Lahaina, I think Donald said it very, very clearly, is that the county, state haven't done anything. FEMA, something a little bit, but it's now 6 months plus out from the burn, the August burn, and Hawaiian stood up. He mentioned about Keaumoku Kapu. Keaumoku was fighting to get back into Lahaina so that he could get things set up and take care of people. That's his kuleana. That's his response. That is his heart. Hawaiians say kuleana is like your responsibility, and this is my path and my way that I do things. He always does that. That is his way of doing things. But people in Lahaina, there's other people in Lahaina too that are standing up and saying, you know what? I don't care about the state. I don't care about the county. They're building their houses for people now. And one of the fascinating things is that you don't need county permissions. You don't need state permissions for anything. You just got to stay off of the county, state, county electric, ag, and or water and sewage and so on and so forth. And they're doing that in not exactly in Lahaina, but close to it. And they're standing up without any issues. And it's a possibility that can be done. We don't need any electricity, any water, any sewage, and any trash. You don't use any county services. You can stand it up immediately and right now. So I know of one auntie in Lahaina that's doing that right now, and there might be other ways of doing that too. Mahalo keakua. Thank you for all that are participating in this. I was invited to this very late. I just got back from church too, like Brother Donald. But so I wasn't aware of this at all. Anyway, God bless. Mahalo.
Thank you so much. Mahalo. And we'll have the link for the April 20th meeting. 2 more people, and then we're going to end with our, I want to make sure that John and whoever is representing the Alliance for Indigenous Nations, which is a huge spearhead of this movement.
Mitigation services that our company Greenworks offers. Yeah, we developed the technology that could be used to purify all different types of environment.